Welcome, everyone, to a hopeful edition of the Crash the Pond podcast. It is the last day of March, which means by the time most are going to be listening to this, it'll be April Fool's Day, maybe a little bit after. Jake, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It's going to be a weird one after how it feels like even last week when we talked about the team. I was down in the dumps, didn't feel great. This week revitalized me in some ways. We'll get into it, but this is like the best I've felt watching the team, enjoying the team, not getting frustrated about the team. It's wild what this week has done for me personally from a mental perspective with the team.
Yeah, so they destroy the Bruins 6-2, the kind of hapless Bruins. Then they have a great comeback victory against the Rangers, and then they drop a competitive game to the Leafs. Is that
Yeah,
fair to say?
I think they went toe to toe with the Leafs, but ended up losing that game.
Yeah. Um, but really, I think that this is a week that I think is a little bit less about the specific games and
Agreed.
more about the big picture hope. But I will say that the hope big picture stems from one game, and that is from the Rangers game, the game where they defeat the Rangers in overtime, 5-4, comeback style, and that was a game where Leo Carlsson puts up 4 points. That the kids contribute to every single goal. I mean, and outside of Alex Killorn getting the first goal at Shorty, you get a goal from Leo Carlsson. Cutter Gauthier gets on the board. Zellweger gets on the board to tie it, and then McTavish with the overtime winner. So that was the game. Proclamation time / hot take time. That was the game where it felt like this team became the kids' team. That they are no longer the passengers. They are no longer needing to be coddled. They are propelling this team to victory, and against a Rangers team that is fighting for its playoff life. Like the Rangers are not this, yes, they trampled the Bruins, but that Bruins team is just going nowhere. So I was a little bit unmoved by that game, but you're beating a Rangers team that's hungry, that's veteran laden, and to do it in that fashion, I was impressed.
Yeah, same. And I think you hit the nail on the head there that the fact that it was driven by the young players there. And I think for a lot of the early part of the season, I don't know if I would say it was driven, but it felt like a lot of the production, and that's why that line was kept together. But a lot of it was coming from the Terry Vetrano Strome line. Like that felt like the line that was producing. And you and I both held the view that breaking up that line would be better long term, even if they were producing goals at that point in time. But that line's kind of just not doing anything anymore. I don't know if you would agree or disagree. It feels like maybe they're on
Yeah.
the ice for some goals against. It feels like Vetrano's defensive game is rearing its ugly head. And it feels like this offensive jolt is coming from the Leo Carlsons. It feels like Trevor Zegras looks really good every single game. I don't know if you've thought that, but in the offensive zone, feels like he ends up getting around guys. I mean, Toronto, there was one play where he ends up driving the net and has a really good chance where he almost scores there. Mason McTavish, I think, looks good next to Zegras. Cutter Gauthier and Leo Carlsson. You and I talked about this on the bonus episode that going into the season, that was the pairing that made the most sense, right? Leo Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier. And for whatever reason, early on in the season, it just didn't work. And whether that, I think whether that was due to Leo Carlsson, whether that's due to Cutter Gauthier, like both players have developed throughout this season just due to the skill level they have. Like we could argue one way or the other whether that's due to Cronin or not, but regardless, they have developed and now they are much better suited to play with each other. I think Cutter Gauthier just having more NHL games under his belt and knowing what needs to happen in an NHL game has suited him well, and now they're really gelling together. I think Alex Killorn, I think a lot of people, I saw this in my mentions when I was bringing up a lineup change that I'd like to see, but a lot of people were talking about moving Killorn off that line, and I actually think Killorn does a really nice is a really nice third person for that line. And you look at the underlying numbers, he's really good in his own zone and defensively and kind of really can help out those two younger players. And we saw it on the penalty kill where Leo Carlsson's able to get the puck to Alex Killorn there. And I think that's another change where I know I'm going to continue being harsh on Greg Cronin. I don't think that he should be the head coach going into next season. But finally, they made a change on the penalty kill and have gotten Leo Carlsson out there, have gotten Troy Terry out there on the penalty kill. And it's just gone to show what having skilled players out there on the ice in those situations can do, because against the Rangers, talking about this game, like the goal that was set up on the penalty kill by Leo Carlsson comes because not only of his high skill level with getting around the Rangers defenseman that was dropping down the wall and then eventually leading Alex Killorn out on the break on it, that goal is all set up by the fact that he lifts a stick in the high slot. Like, that is what has not been happening in the penalty kill. The forwards have not been recognizing that. The forwards have not been stopping those types of shots, and that is why the Ducks have a really poor penalty kill. And so it's nice to see finally that they're getting some more talented, more skilled players on the ice, and it's really benefiting them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to take this, but kind of sticking with the Rangers game, since that's the launching pad here, I think that what really was interesting about that game is I've kind of reached a point where I'm not really evaluating the rest of the team and the overall team play as much, because I don't think that the team overall played this like fantastic game against the Rangers. Like they did well to come back, but they weren't.
I think they played a solid enough game. It's fascinating in that game where if you look at like Evolving Hockey, they're at like 39%. Hockey Viz had it like 50-50 though. And so it's one of those weird games where it's just going to happen on a game-to-game level. Certain websites will have it in different spots. But I think they played a solid enough game. Now, granted, the Rangers aren't this like 5-on-5 behemoth is the other part of it.
No, they didn't play this great game, but I think that what just mattered is that the kids were making plays for this team over and over. And I think that on each individual play, like you could kind of pick something out, like some element of it that was really interesting. And so like you talked about it with the first goal where Leo Carlsson makes a great play, and like now that he's killing penalties, he has the opportunity to do that. And I think that it just makes sense to put him in a kind of a different position where you can maybe capitalize on some of his offensive strengths. And then the actual goal that he scored, it was interesting because really nice goal. Like it's a total snipe, breakout by Zellweger, and then kind of a lucky bounce a little bit where he just kind of pokes it through and he finds himself all alone and he just snipes it home, high blocker. And what I found interesting, because there's been this buzz around Leo Carlsson because he had 4 points in that game. What is he at post Four Nations points wise? He's got like 20.
Over a point per game.
Yeah, and like in the Leafs game, he hit the 20 goal mark. So like he's hitting those round numbers, and he's got the points, and everything looks great. And I thought what was interesting is after that goal, the broadcast made this comment of, ever since the Four Nations, Leo Carlsson made it a point to us that he wants to shoot the puck more. And so I looked at the numbers just because I was curious. Like, is that, because Brian Hayward was saying, he's shooting the puck more now. There was times in the beginning of the season where he was basically just always passing. You knew he was always going to pass. And if you look pre-Four Nations, and this is at all strengths, so I'm including everything here, he was at 4.7 shots per 60 minutes of play. And post Four Nations, he's at 6.8 shots per 60. So he's shooting a little bit more. Like it comes out to about a couple shots more per game. And then in terms of shot attempts, it's the same. It's 2 more shot attempts per game. What's interesting is that his expected goals per game per 60 have gone from 0.7 to 0.97. So the shot quality seems to be improving. So there's that, because the volume hasn't gone up. But what has gone up is that pre-Four Nations, in all situations, he was shooting 15%, which is still pretty high.
Yeah.
Post-Four Nations, he's shooting 31.4%. So, like, yes, the underlying process has improved a little bit. I think you can clearly say that, at least in all situations, he's shooting a little bit more. But he's also just finishing at a ludicrous rate right now. Like that, he's not going to shoot 30%
correct
for his whole career. And if you look at just 5-on-5, there's almost no difference in terms of his shot volume. Like it's gone from, if you look at shot attempts, it's gone about like 1 more shot attempt, and then if you just look at shots on goal, it's gone from 4.9 to 5.8. So like, yes, he's shooting a little bit more, but I think it's mostly just maybe he was due to get some bounces that he wasn't getting earlier in the season.
Yeah, I think all of that to say, to let me know if you disagree with any of this, I think tempering expectations slightly on Leo Carlsson could be a good idea. I don't think anyone should expect him to be a point per game player over the course of next season. But I think what we're seeing is improved play from him. I think him scoring these points is good for him long term. I think getting these goals, having these moments is good for him. But I think there has to be a whole lot more improvement for these point totals to continue long term for him. And that development can come. Like, he could make the jump and this becomes sustainable next season, but there needs to be more to his game that is added in those situations. And some of that could come from development around him also. But I would not go into next season expecting him to be an 80-plus point guy.
Yeah, and like the thing too is if you look at his individual just expected goal per 60 at 5-on-5, he's so pre Four Nations he's at 0.67 and post Four Nations he's at 0.7. So it basically hasn't moved, and so the improvement in his individual expected goals per game after the Four Nations is almost all coming from special teams, which maybe is a credit to the argument that he should have been playing shorthanded this entire time on the penalty kill, because it's like that's just opportunities for him to get out on the rush, create turnovers, and that now maybe, yes, the improvement isn't necessarily coming at 5-on-5, but because you've opened other avenues for him to get his offense, like he's still going to improve.
And not only on the penalty kill, but I think on the power play. I think that finally they've created a power play unit that I think really takes advantage of the youth that is on this team. And I think even if they haven't scored that much, I think they've generated good looks, and I think Leo Carlsson is part of that.
Yeah, I would agree. And the other thing that's changed, which you kind of touched on, is the teammates. So this is going to be a little bit of a hard pill to swallow for some, but it is also a little bit of a smaller sample. But if you compare Leo Carlsson, who's basically been on a line with Trevor Zegras and Alex Killorn for a lot of the season, that line was getting really outplayed at 5-on-5. They were at 39% expected goals percentage, and that's in over 200 minutes. And since Leo Carlsson got put back with Gauthier and Killorn, like on the season, that line is at 48% expected goals percentage. So they are controlling the play a lot more. Now they're still getting outplayed a touch, but then you look at the offense, they're generating 2.5 expected goals per 60 compared to 2.17. So like he's just on a better line right now. And it kind of makes sense if you think about the eye test. Like Trevor Zegras is not a great winger. I'm just going to say that. And I think that he's not really a guy who accentuates Leo Carlsson in some ways, because Leo Carlsson loves to play with speed, loves to attack, is very direct, whereas Zegras loves to delay, loves to kind of set things up, set the table. And it's not to say that it can't work, but when you compare that to with Cutter Gauthier, who's more of a straight line player, who has that shot first mentality, who's really aggressive on the forecheck, who can go and win pucks, which Zegras isn't really that to the same degree. It just makes sense that he's in a better situation now to just create dangerous offense. I mean, you just see it at the eye test. Like Cutter Gauthier and Leo Carlsson, they just put so much pressure on the other team, just night in and night out.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. I think that's worked well. I think also the other part of this is looking at some of the numbers. The Zegras McTavish Colangelo line has worked. I think in some parts that is Zegras and McTavish really feeding off of each other well. I think Colangelo definitely deserves some flowers for how he's played on that line and kind of doing the work that Zegras and McTavish don't necessarily do that well. But I think Zegras and McTavish have worked really well together. I think part of it is, even though McTavish is technically the center, I feel like in some ways Zegras has been playing as a center in some ways on that line, and McTavish has been almost more so the winger at various different times. And they kind of are fluid with how they end up playing that. And this is the one tweak I would make to this lineup overall that I would really like to see as we're talking about this Rangers game, talking about this team, and that it does feel like the kids have taken over. Mm-hmm. And it feels specifically like the Vetrano, Strome, Terry line is the third line at this point.
Yeah.
And to me, that is a misuse of Troy Terry. And even if their numbers are okay overall in the season, like Troy Terry is still a high-end player. And at the end of the day, Vetrano and Strome are third liners. Like, even if you look at like Frank Vetrano's newest contract, like the fact that he's only getting paid that much shows kind of where this team evaluates him at as compared to an Alex Killorn, right? Frank Vetrano came in at 4.5 or something around there. I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head without looking it up. Something in that range. Whereas the Ducks, without the rising cap, paid Alex Killorn over 6.
Yeah.
Like, that just, I think, goes to show that even for people that love Frank Vetrano, internally, the team kind of evaluates him as a third liner. And so Troy Terry, I think, really, for everything that Sam Colangelo is doing well in that line, I think he is doing a lot well. Troy Terry is just at this point in time a better player than Sam Colangelo. And I think he can do a whole lot there that Sam Colangelo already does. I think Troy Terry is very underrated with his ability to win pucks along the boards. And I think his ability to pull pucks off the boards and attack the ice really will open up space for Zegras and McTavish to find soft spaces. I think also when McTavish and Zegras have the ice, I think Troy Terry is one of the better off-puck movers for the Ducks. And so I think that line overall, which it's funny talking about this because going into the season, I don't know if you remember this, it hit me, but we had said that the Ducks should be going with Gauthier, Carlsson, Killorn,
Yep.
McTavish, Zegras, Terry, and then it was going to be Vetrano, Strome, Fabry was the thought.
I do remember that. Yep.
And so it's funny that if you remember, McTavish, Zegras, Terry felt, I think they played one preseason game together and then they went away from it.
Yes.
And I don't think they ever have reunited them as a line. But that feels like the line that they should be having. This is the time to really put them together. And then you slot Sam Colangelo, who right now is a third liner, which is really good for him. And is far and above, I think, what I would have expected from him going into the season. And I think he really fits well with Vetrano and Strome in that role with softer matchups and can really get in, do the dirty work, and kind of feed the puck to Ryan Strome, who's a bit of a facilitator, and also get the puck to Frank Vetrano, who we kind of know what he does. He just shoots the puck. I think that line can work together also. And so I think the Ducks are really set up in this way that I know I've been critical of this team for the last little bit.
Yes, you have.
But That's way to finish the season that is going to be fun and provide hope and build things for going into next season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. And I think touching on the point of the McTavish line, I think that, yes, like McTavish has been scoring and you're saying Zegras has been looking good. I still just think that those two, especially if Zegras is a wing, they just don't quite... The numbers look good in a small sample, but to my eye at least, they don't quite have the same burst that Carlsson line has with Gauthier there. And I think part of it is what you're saying with Troy Terry, which is that Zegras and McTavish are not very good at getting the puck off the wall and into the middle of the ice. Like Mason McTavish is great at protecting the puck, and kind of soaking up the pressure to wait for someone else to come get it, or kind of just dish it off to someone in a small area. But he's not ripping a puck off the wall and then lowering the shoulder, getting in, into the middle lane and then creating from there. Like if he could do that, he'd be a star player already. Trevor Zegras just cannot do that. And watching them cycle the puck, it's kind of painful because they're both doing their best, but neither of them are really great at it. So if you put a Troy Terry in there, he can kind of be that guy to go and win pucks, to go and get it into the middle. And then from there, that McTavish and Zegras have good, offensive IQ. They can then make the plays from there. It's just getting into those positions that's really difficult. And like you said, as great of a story as Sam Colangelo is, he does have a playmaking ability. Right now, at least when you're cycling the puck, he's more of a net front guy, crash and bang, make little small plays here and there, but he's just not Troy Terry. And then that's all of that is without even discussing the rush, where it's like Troy Terry off the rush is lethal. And you put him with McTavish and Zegras, and that's just going to give them more opportunities. Yeah.
Like, it would just be so much fun to see. So I really want to see that moving forward. There was something else I was going to mention. Oh, the other thing with Terry is not only win the battles and pull pucks off walls, but also when he wins that battle, he just has the vision to be able to find guys.
Yes.
And I think that's just something that Sam Colangelo at this point in his career, which he's still figuring out the NHL.
I mean, it's okay to say that an NHL All-Star is better than a guy who just got called up.
Agreed.
It's okay to say that.
I know that. That is what I'm saying.
I think he would even agree with that.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, and the thing too with Troy Terry is that he, sometimes to his detriment, but I think that line needs it, is he's just a guy who's unafraid to go and take people on one-on-one and break people down with stick handling maneuvers. Whereas, Trevor Zegras weirdly doesn't do that as much as he used to. He's a lot more patient with the puck, and McTavish, he's a guy who's at best going to put his head down and try to drive it to the net, but just adding an element of a guy who can kind of go off script and create, and then let Zegras and McTavish profit from that would be great.
I have a wild idea right now.
Yes, let's hear it.
Seeing as we're just having fun right now, coming up with a lineup construction.
Yeah, we're doing this is a vibes pod. Vibes pod.
What would you rather have for the third line? Nestorenko, Strome, Colangelo, or Vetrano.
I see
Strome,
where you're going.
Colangelo.
Man, your Vetrano hate is really.
I'm just
showing.
asking. I'm asking the question. This is up to you, not up to me. I'm just asking the question.
I still think I put Vetrano over Nestorenko.
I would agree.
I think Nestorenko just doesn't really. He just doesn't have the same offensive pop right now. Like, yes, Vetrano's flawed, but he can bury pucks and he can get shots off, and he's I don't know. But
no, I agree.
I wouldn't
it was
hate
just
it.
a thought process.
Also, just the idea of having a $4.5 million player on
Agreed.
the fourth line is a bit embarrassing.
I would agree. It was something that it was just popped in my head. I'm like, let's see what you think about
if
this.
money was no object, I wouldn't hate it. If money was no object, I wouldn't hate it. Okay, let's talk about the blue line a little bit, unless you had anything else on the forwards.
Nope, that's it.
I think there's a few things that I think really stick out. So if you look, I don't know where to start. I'll start here just because it's where I want to go personally.
Okay.
Olin Zellweger and Pavel Mintyukov. I know that there's a lot of, if you go on Twitter right now, all the like hockey like stat accounts are really tweeting a lot about Jackson Lacombe, and he deserves rightfully so. Like, he's got 13 points in the last 15 games. He's almost been a point per game in the basically since the new year. He has been outstanding, and we will get to him. But I think that the big disappointment of this season has been that Pavel Mintyukov and Olin Zellweger have kind of just felt like the misfit toys a little bit. Like, they just haven't had their seat at the table. They've been in and out of the lineup. Zellweger basically didn't play for like a month. Mintyukov barely played at times. And in that Ranger game, I thought that you really saw both of them come to life. I mean, you had Zellweger picking up an assist on the Carlsson goal, but the Zellweger goal to tie the game just made my heart sing, because was it coming off of a penalty kill?
Yeah, so they had to have Zellweger and Mintyukov on the ice killing a penalty.
Trouba was hurt. Yeah,
because Trouba got hurt and Gudis was in the box, so they had Hellison and Lacombe be the first two guys out, and so you have to have Mintyukov and Zellweger out there together for the second part of the penalty kill.
Yeah, and so the penalty kill ends, and all of a sudden there's a rush that goes the other way, and just seeing those two guys leading the rush and all having the aggressive mindset to recognize, oh, we've got a counterattack opportunity, and to turn a 2-on-2 into a 3-on-2, and then eventually into a 4-on-2, and seeing Leo Carlsson leading that charge, getting it over to Pavel Mintyukov, who then just expertly leaves it on a tee for Zellweger, and then Zellweger in one decisive motion puts the puck underneath the bar on Igor Shesterkin, mind you, like not some rando goalie, but one of the best goalies of the last 10 years in the NHL, to just put it under the bar in kind of that awkward spot over the goalie's shoulder where he can't really reach it. I mean, that's just everything you want to see in one play. That's everything you could possibly want, is that defense to offense, playmaking, aggressiveness, and that's without even mentioning how Mintyukov, I think, in that game and in other games, has looked so much more like himself, getting involved offensively, not being afraid to join the rush and create outnumbered attacks. Like, I just feel like these two guys have been overdue for some good vibes.
Would you play them together?
Why not?
At this point, like, I think that the Ducks and Greg Cronin really need to take these final 10 games, 8 games, something in that range, wherever they're at right now, and experiment. Yeah. Like, this is the time, especially with Trouba hurt. Like, even with Trouba not being hurt, they should be doing that. But like, you have Oliver Shillington. Mm-hmm. I spaced on his first name for a split second there. You have Oliver Shillington, who is a left-handed D last time I checked. So you're already playing a left-hand D on his offside. why not play Shillington with Hellison as a third pair and have Minchikov and Zellweger play together and just see
Yeah,
how it goes?
I would not be opposed to that. I think Greg Cronin would be opposed to that, but
100%.
that's a different story. Um, yeah, so those two guys were overdue, and it's just fun to see them. I mean, like this is gonna sound cheesy, but seeing Zellweger smile on the bench and like go crazy after he scored the goal, like I just feel like if there's anyone on this team who deserved a moment like that, it was Olin Zellweger because he's
It's been
been
a rough
marginal.
season.
He's been marginalized for no reason this season.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, like there was no reason for him to kind of go through what he did, and by all accounts, he handled it really well. And I think good things come to those who wait, and he had to wait. Not that he should have, but he did, and now he's being rewarded. And then you've got Minchikov on top of all of that.
Yeah. Speaking
Okay.
of the blue line, though,
Yeah.
because Jackson Lacombe deserves flowers. He's been so good this season. But that Toronto game,
Yes.
do we talk about the elephant in the room?
The bearded elephant in the room.
The captain elephant in the room?
Yeah, so that's the funny thing is that talking about the pairings, it's like in my head, I was thinking, oh, well, Lacombe and Minchikov had great numbers together. Why not reunite them? But then you remember that, oh, Lacombe kind of has to carry Radko Gudas right now. And I think that that's what's made Radko Gudas, or that's what's made Jackson Lacombe's season so impressive is that he's posting the numbers that he is, production, on-ice impact, all of that. And he's doing it next to a guy in Radko Gudas who has just not been good, who is really struggling. And I thought that Toronto game might have been his worst game of the season. Like he just, it's sad to say, but, and it almost makes you wonder if he's injured or something, but it just looks like he just can't keep up right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just that. It's just like gap control. There's just a whole lot off. Like I think of the first goal, the Max Domi goal where
Yeah.
like that entire play, like that entire sequence, like he holds the puck in at the point, but then just shoots it down the wall, which is just an instant turnover instead of trying to make a play with it. That leads to the rush the other way, and then eventually when the puck gets into the defensive zone for the Ducks, offensive zone for the Maple Leafs, like for me, it's not just the fact that he randomly goes for a hip check, but it's in the lead up to that of his gap control is just so horrible. And then on top of that, it's he could have gotten his stick in the way, and for whatever reason, he just kind of bends over and goes for a hip check when Domi is going extremely slow, and everyone focuses on the play by Domi, but that's just absolutely horrible defense by him. And it's just really, really poor defensively on that goal. I mean, the second goal wasn't really his fault completely, but still has a chance to maybe tie up Marner going into the zone, lets him kind of fly by and just gets absolutely burned by Marner going in. Yeah. And I'm completely spacing, honestly, on the third goal, but I know he was on the ice for it.
It was the Lorentz goal. It was kind of like just an errant shot from the point. And he was there, and he didn't kind of tie up his man.
Well,
you can't. I don't think you can.
Only that. Yeah, just tying up his man in that situation would have been the best play.
Yeah, you can't really blame him for the Marner goal. I don't think like that was kind of a weird play, but yeah Lorentz. I think that it's. I think both things can be true. Where he probably should have tied up his man, but he's also a little bit unfortunate that ended up in a goal because like it took the perfect bounce for the puck to go into the net. But I mean, when you're playing a really good team. When you're playing a really good team, like that's what can happen if you give them an inch. So, yeah, and I think that what's just concerning with Gudas is that if you look at his tracking data this season, and we're now at 200 minutes of a sample, so it's getting up there. His stats in terms of defending the blue line on zone entries are all really in the negative. Like he's in the deep red in terms of chances against per 60. He's well in the negative in terms of carries against per 60. He's not denying entries. He's below average in that respect. So it just kind of seems like he's really struggling in that facet. And, especially with the way the game is played now, with speed, with transition, it's just really hard to have a guy out there who's giving up the blue line. And what's weird is that if you look at last season, those numbers were a lot better for him. Like in almost the exact same sample size.
I think the one thing that I want to add on that is that like you look at the way that we talked about Radko Gudas last year. Like we're not two guys that were anti Radko being on the team. We were both like really excited about him
He was
signing
good
with
last
this
year.
team. And he
Yeah.
was good for this team. And it's just, I think father time has probably come for him a little bit this season, and he's probably making similar decisions that he made last season, but doesn't have the foot speed for those situations.
Yeah, I mean he's 34, and it is just possible that and he's going to be 35 in June. So like, time is not on his side athleticism wise. I'm curious, maybe it is something that is just nagging at him, and that maybe he comes back next season better. The question becomes, will he even be on this team next year? Like that's kind of where I'm at, where you've got Jacob Trouba, who has a year left on his deal, who kind of fills that role of the right shot veteran physical D, and with everybody else kind of coming up, with the kids, and you've got Tristan Luneau who's going to be arriving. Is it just a situation where maybe now is the time to flip Gudis? He's got a year left on his deal, and just kind of sell high, I guess, because I still feel like he's well thought of around the league. It's just,
Yeah.
I have a hard time seeing the Ducks doing that, but I feel like that's something that they should do.
I could see the Panthers bringing him back.
Interesting. Well, he's for a contending team, he only makes $4 million. So
Yeah.
he's on a very kind of team friendly deal, and if he can regain any bit of his form and maybe in a lesser role on a contending team, then that could be an attractive piece.
Well, also the Panthers know what they're getting in him.
Yeah.
Like the Panthers know him. Like I think that's a situation that would probably work well for both him and the Panthers overall, where he's going to be in a lower role. He's not going to be playing as much as he's playing on the Ducks. Like it's just going to be a better situation overall for him at his age.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. Aaron Ekblad's a free agent.
Yep.
So
Seth Jones is now there though.
Seth Jones is the moneymaker on the back end there.
Yep.
I mean, they're going to bring back Ekblad, right?
No, anyway. I don't think so. I think they brought in Seth Jones because they're not bringing back Ekblad.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, anyway, so all that to say that Gudis not playing well, and it's like so bad to the point now where I feel bad, and I'm hoping that it's an injury and not just his game completely, because it is crazy how he went from very serviceable last season to just downright bad in just one season like that. I don't know. That feels very sudden. So we'll see there. And then the obvious, we'll talk about him a little bit more here, but Jackson Lacombe, it's gotten to a point now where I almost feel like I'm numb to it a little bit, where he's putting up points. I think the broadcast said that he's like the 8th defenseman in Ducks history to put up 40-plus points in a season. Does that sound right?
I can look it up.
But yeah, he's the production has been outstanding. The on-ice impact has been outstanding. If you look at the tracking data, it's outstanding. If you look at the eye test, he's making plays left and right. He's super aggressive. He's breaking up plays defensively. Are we almost underselling or underappreciating just how good he's been this season?
Probably.
I mean, that reaction kind of says yes.
Sorry, I'm like trying to find this number, but yeah, I think we are. I think we're missing maybe not talking about it enough, just how good he's been this season.
Because I think for me, part of this season has been, hey, I'm waiting for Zellweger and Minchikov to take the step. Minchikov was a 10th overall pick. Like I hold him in high regard, and he's been marginalized. And all the while, Lacombe has gotten that opportunity that the other guys haven't. And I guess I haven't been focused on his game as much. But he's taking the exact step that you would want to see from a defenseman in his age 24 season. And you and I on the Patreon the other day, we were ranking our top 15 Ducks players under the age of 25, and we struggled to rank Zellweger, Minchikov, Lacombe because of the age difference. And spoiler, well, people can go listen, but I still favored Minchikov compared to Lacombe because I think, well, if Lacombe is this good at 24, not having the pedigree that Minchikov has, I think once Minchikov is that age, he's going to be, he could be elite. He could be even better than what Lacombe is going to be. And I think Minchikov's already really good right now. I think the question now becomes, if Lacombe continues this, like, does that change the long-term planning of the blue line a little bit? Because you're going to have to pay him at some point. And if he keeps this up, that's going to be an expensive payday.
It's going to be an expensive payday, but there's also the cap rising. I think the way that this blue line is kind of shaping out, I think the Ducks will be okay. You and I actually talked about it on that Patreon episode, but I'm very curious how this blue line long-term shakes out, because the Ducks have the ability to just have 6 blue liners that they drafted, or I guess, or 7 technically, if you want to add in the healthy scratch, that they drafted / traded for at a young age, and if we're including Helleson. In Lacombe, Zellweger, Minchkov on the left side, or move one of them to the right side and have Solberg there, and then you have Luno, Moore, and then whichever one of the lefties moves to the right side, and then Helleson being the healthy scratch.
Yeah.
Like, that is a really good NHL defense group right there. Like, if everyone hits and becomes that.
Let me ask you this as a fun little historical comparison. Would you prefer, who's better, that group or the Lindholm, Manson, Fowler, Vatanen, Montour, Theodore group? It's a really hard comparison because we know how those guys panned out.
It's really hard because we know how those guys panned out, and there are question marks, right? Like, I don't think as of right now, it's hard to say if either Moore or Helleson become a Josh Manson, or Stian Solberg becomes a Josh Manson, right?
I mean, that would be the hope for him, is that's what he becomes.
But so let's just say, for instance, Stian Solberg becomes Josh Manson.
Yeah.
Tristan
Luneau's got Vatanen vibes a little bit.
Tristan Luneau's got Vatanen vibes. I think Pavel Minchkov could be a better defenseman than Hampus Lindholm was.
Ooh. That's
could be.
That's where it gets fuzzy for me, because maybe Montour's a better comp for Luneau. I don't know, but that's where things get.
I think Montour's a good comp for Zellweger.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think Zellweger can be better than Montour.
I agree.
In fact, I think he will be.
Okay. So let's do a comparison here from that group.
Okay, this is fun. I did not expect this.
Yeah, I didn't either, but that's where we're at in the season. So,
okay.
All right. So Hampus Lindholm, left-hand shot. Let's go with Pavel Minchkov as the comparable right there. If Pavel Minchkov hits his ceiling, is he better than Hampus Lindholm?
It's so hard because Lindholm is like a easier guy to kind of characterize, shut down.
Yep.
5v5 driver, not really offensive though.
Yep.
I think if Minchkov realizes his potential, he's better than Lindholm.
Okay, agreed.
But I think it's a high bar because we know like Lindholm at his peak, to me, is a true first pairing defenseman.
Agreed. Okay, and then let's do we're going with the 2017.
The hard one is going to be Theodore.
2017. I'm just looking.
Are we thinking Theodore on the Ducks or Theodore on the Golden Knights?
I mean, let's do Theodore on the Golden Knights because that's what he is. Yeah, that's what he was going to become. So we're doing 16, 17. Was Vatanen was still okay. So we just did Lindholm. So Fowler. Let's do Jackson Lacombe as a comparable.
Oh, I'm taking Lacombe.
Okay,
I'm taking Lacombe all day.
Let's do Zellweger and Vatanen.
I'm taking Zellweger.
Okay. Right side.
Like Vatanen was good, but he was never like a true top pairing, or I don't know. He wasn't really a driver. I remember his underlying numbers always being kind of a mixed bag despite his offensive production. So
okay. So the right side, let's do Manson or Solberg.
I mean, the thing that we're forgetting a little bit is that Solberg is a first round pick. Like, yes. He is, just in terms of pedigree, he is much higher than Josh Manson. Josh Manson was what, like a fourth
rounder?
Yeah. So I think on pedigree, you have to say Solberg. And, like Josh Manson was really good, but how much of that was playing next to Hampus Lindholm? I think I'm taking Solberg over Manson.
Okay, and then who else do we have left? So we have Luno and Theodore.
Oof, I bet that's got to be Theodore.
Yeah, I think that's Theodore.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you got Montour. Did you say Montour yet?
Montour and I guess Moore Hellison. Let's go with Moore.
I think you got to go Montour there.
Yeah.
Although
But
Montour took him a long time to get to
yeah,
where he is now.
yeah.
Like Montour on the Ducks never. I mean, I never
I'd
thought he
say
was gonna.
Ian Moore could become better than Brandon Montour was.
I mean, they're just different players too. Like
Sure.
Montour is so offensive and loves to join the rush, and I mean, it's kind of crazy out there. Whereas Moore's a little bit more traditional puck
Yeah.
mover.
So 4 of the 6 we're taking the current.
Yeah,
And that's also the high end like we're talking the Lindholm, the Manson, those types of guys.
I will
from
say
that.
it's a close call for a few of them. Like Lindholm versus
Sure.
Minchikov is really hard. Wasn't Lindholm, was he 6th overall?
Yes.
Okay, and Minchikov was 10th overall. So yeah, that's a fair comparison draft range wise.
Yeah.
I think I take Minchikov's potential, but like that's a very high bar. And then Fowler was what, 11th? 9th?
Fowler was 13th.
He was he slid.
Yeah. Let's see.
He's-
I was at that draft.
I think 13 might be right.
I think he was 13th. I'll find out very quickly where he was drafted. He was taken 12th.
Ah, you were close.
We were close.
I think Fowler is kind of a one where like I was just never really high on him, and it's weird. He kind of grew on me as his career progressed. But if you're comparing him to Zellweger, who was a second rounder, I still think
Let me ask you this.
I'm taking Zellweger.
What if we swap what we've seen from Jackson Lacombe this season?
Oh wait, was it Lacombe and
Fowler.
And Fowler?
Yes.
Oh,
What
that's
if
right,
we
that's
do
right.
Lacombe and Lindholm with just what we've seen from Jackson Lacombe this season?
Man, you're really putting me on the spot.
I am.
I still think I'm taking Lindholm.
Okay. All of this, I think, is to say that this group,
They're good.
this is a really, really, really good group of defensemen. And I
Yeah.
think that we are hitting the point where roadblocks should not be added to this group.
Yeah, they should just be the roster.
Like,
Like this is the opportunity to right the wrong of losing out on all those guys that were, because those guys never actually really played together except for like, I mean, how many games did all those guys actually play together?
not much.
Yeah, like 5. So
Some playoff games, basically.
this is the opportunity to make up for that, and yeah, like they should just be the roster on the blue line. Like you don't need, and this is kind of why I still am irritated with getting Jacob Trouba, because it's just a roadblock. Of course, I mean the thing we should keep in mind is that like Solberg and Luneau is still in the
Moore.
AHL. Like these guys
More
haven't
needs
made
time.
yeah, they haven't made the jump yet, so we can't rush that. But it'll be fascinating. I mean, that the team loves Solberg, the front office loves Solberg, and maybe he just surprises everybody and makes the team next year. But
Like, I think
we'll
realistically,
see.
with what Tristan Luneau has shown in the AHL this season, he should be in the NHL next year.
Oh yeah,
I think Drew Hellison, from what he's shown this season, should be in the NHL next season.
Yep.
So and I don't think that Drew Hellison should be a 7th defenseman necessarily. I think 6th, sure. I don't know if he should be the guy that's sitting every night though, unless he's sitting over a Olin Zellweger or Pavel Minchikov. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the so.
Yeah.
To me, that's where I think a lot of people would question why we're bringing up the Radko Gudas. Like, why we would bring up
Yep.
him moving, because just named captain of the team, second year, or has one more year on his deal, is a leader on this team, all that type of stuff. Why would you move him in the offseason? And I think that it's almost out of necessity with what this team has. I know Pat Verbeek, from what Elliot Friedman was saying, that he wants these guys to earn their spots, right? But I think we saw the flaw in that this year. This idea that you need to put these roadblocks to earn those spots, because at a certain point, those roadblocks are just going to have more trust from the head coach as compared to the younger players. So viewing it as these guys having to earn their way isn't necessarily a fair thing, because they should be playing, but they just don't have that same cachet with a coaching staff that a veteran does.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I mean, Pat Verbeek did talk about how he wants the young guys to play. I mean, that was what he said was driving the Dumoulin trade, and it's like you said. I mean, you said it. Like next season, someone's gonna have to sit again if Gudis is back, and it just kind of feels like Gudis is the easiest piece to move because it would like they're not gonna trade Truba.
I mean, I don't know if they even could.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they even could, and they just got him. Do you think Pat Verbeek would do it? Because I think it's maybe a bigger chance than I thought. Just thinking about like the roadblocks and the kids and all of that.
I think there's a chance.
I still think it's unlikely.
The thing
but
I struggle with is that comment about wanting the kids to earn the spot. And it's almost to me feels like it's like a first month or two of the season type of deal where Gudis is just so far behind the play and you see what's happening and it's almost like the Fowler situation.
Yeah.
And so that's what's happening. But
I think the likeliest scenario is that Luneau starts the year in Anaheim. He's just your third pairing guy, and maybe
you think Drew Hellison's the healthy scratch?
I think Hellison will just be the seventh defenseman, and I think maybe Hellison and Luneau will kind of rotate, but they love Luneau quite a bit, and they should.
Yeah,
he's playing really well.
And Alex Olvera brings up a point that saying that he has a hard time thinking he goes into the season with the blue line that young. And while I don't disagree, I really hope this management group starts to adjust their thinking on that. And I mentioned this on our Patreon episode, but at a certain point, like, you need to start understanding that your own guys are the veterans in that room.
Yeah,
like,
they're also
like Jackson
building,
Lacombe is
yeah.
Jackson Lacombe is going to be 25 years old, right? Like he's 24 right now. He's going to be 25. Drew Hellison, same thing. Like, well, yes, they're younger. Like, those are prime NHL years that you're getting out of those guys.
Yeah, and I think, yes, they are, like, especially Zellweger and Minchikov, they're both 21. They're going to be 22 this fall. But they're guys who are going to have 2 NHL seasons under their belt. Like it's not like, yes, they're younger, but it's not like you're just dumping them onto the ice after having no pro experience. Like they're building up their resume. They're kind of building up their body of work. And I think that like year 3 could be really big for both of those guys, knowing what we know about them. And so, yeah, I think that you just like it's kind of full circle from what we said about the Rangers game, where I feel like now is the time to turn over the team to the kids because they are doing it, whether or not you like it. Like they are the ones that are keeping you in games. They are the ones that are producing offense. They are the ones that are really doing the work. So you can, if you're Pat Verbeek, you can say whatever you want about kids and experience and blah blah. But like the proof is in the pudding. Like these are the guys that are doing it for you right now. So just like quit messing around and just hand the team over to them. Like they have earned it, in my opinion. Like I think Pat Verbeek can actually have his cake and eat it too, where he can say that they need to earn it and actually turn it over to them because I think they are earning it. So,
yep, agreed.
Anything else on this team?
Not right now.
I don't know. Were there any news this week? Anything else that came up that we should touch on?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Did we talk about Stian Solberg's AHL debut? I think we did last week. I don't
probably.
remember.
He scored on the weekend. Ian Moore also scored on the weekend.
Yeah, it seems like they're both off to good starts.
I wonder how long the Ducks run with Shillington.
What do you think of Shillington?
I think he's a fun player.
Yeah, he was like at the blue line trying to do a bunch of head fakes on someone.
Yeah, I dig it.
And I was like, is that
he's
Lane
a fun
Hudson?
seventh defenseman?
Yeah. I mean,
so,
he's had good NHL moments before. Like he's not just some rando.
Agreed. He's not Matt Irwin. I'm trying to like go through my memory.
Matt Irwin is an NHL rando. I'm sorry, but
Luke Schenn.
Yeah,
Luke Schenn being a Duck is a random one.
Michael Del Zotto.
Michael Del Zotto had actually some good,
did he though?
Like good games with the Ducks.
Christian Juice.
Man, why am I spacing on the Schuster? There we go. That was the one I was trying to pull.
Didn't he? Didn't he play for? Didn't he have like 2 tours of duty with the Ducks?
He did, but in the second one, he didn't play a game.
That's right. Corbinian Holzer.
Corbinian Holzer was fun.
Was he though?
Yes.
That is very
He was
much
just-
that
he
is
was just-
revisionist history.
He
I'm
was
sorry.
fun just as a pure wild card.
He was bad. He was awful.
Sure. No, by fun, that doesn't mean that he was good.
I did not enjoy watching him play. He did play forward though.
He did. That's why I meant he was just wild. Sheldon Surrey as a Duck is a random one.
Yeah, I did not get to see that, so I can't comment. Does John Klingberg count as random?
Yes.
Dmitry Kulikov. I'm just gonna name names now because we're having fun here.
This
Dmitry
is
Kulikov.
This is where we're at in the season.
Dmitry
Dennis,
Kulikov.
wait. When was... am I completely misremembering Dennis Weidman as a Duck?
I am. Yes. Does
Wait,
Jamie...
he was a Duck?
I don't know. Was
Mr.
he?
Mallard's saying Dennis Weidman. Why? What?
Your favorite, Nathan Beaulieu.
Oh, no, not my favorite. Your favorite. Okay,
What
Mr.
about-
Mallard's not saying, oh, wait. That, like, made me...
What
Okay.
about Jamie Drysdale? Does he count?
No.
What? No.
No.
Hunter Drew. Brendan.
That's right. He
Brendan
did play a game.
Brendan Gooley is a good one.
Brendan Gooley is a random one.
Greg Patterin.
Greg Patterin, what? That was like first part of the season.
Does Kevin Shattenkirk count?
Kevin Shattenkirk played, I think, 2 minutes.
Remember how he was like? I feel like Shattenkirk was Killorn before there was a Killorn, where like everyone hated on him, but we defended him because of his numbers.
And then he became bad.
Yes, and then those people got proven right.
Yeah.
Ben Hutton, remember that?
Yeah.
Ugh. Hayden.
Ooh.
I forgot Hayden Fleury played on the Ducks.
Robida.
Oh, I mean that's not that random.
Yeah, it was. He played like a month or two before having his knee blown out.
God, the COVID season, just like that roster is just so bad. Like just so many random, like Alexander Volkov,
Oh man.
Carter
The-
Rowney, David Backus. Like it's just not good. Vinny Lettieri, Andy Walensky. Shout out to Andy Walensky. That's like an
Yeah.
original Crash the Pond favorite.
Kevin Waugh.
Oh, remember your favorite? Cody Curran? Who you always called Cody Curran for some reason?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, that's enough of that. But yeah, we've been doing this a while.
We have been.
as we often like to say.
All right. Want to get to questions?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So for those of you listening on your favorite podcast services, you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/crashspawn, where you get access to our Discord server at the $2 tier. You can ask us questions in there, and they will get prioritized for the show. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how far back I have to go here, because I don't think we did questions last week. Oh, no, we did. Now I found it. All right, Lisa asks, with Pat Maroon announcing last week that he is retiring after the season, what is your favorite Pat Maroon Duck memory? Oh, that one's easier for me. I think it was the overtime winner against Calgary, where he scores it with like everyone like on top of him, and then comes out of the crowd of people in with the overtime winner celebrating without a helmet on. I think in that, really fun.
Okay.
That's a good memory.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. Endymion said, why do defensemen win the Conn Smythe far more often than the Hart? Should the Hart Trophy go to defensemen more often? For reference, Pronger is the last defenseman to win the Hart, being awarded the trophy in the 99 to 2000 season. Prior to that, it was Bobby Orr in 1972. The Conn Smythe has been won by 6 different defensemen since Pronger's Hart-winning season: Makar, Hedman, Keith, Niedermeyer, Lidstrom, and Stevens.
I think that in the regular season, points are held in higher regard, and in the playoffs, that like minute munching defenseman, like maybe because everyone's actually watching the games, it's easier to keep up. You maybe appreciate those guys more.
I think
I don't
it's
know.
probably this simple in the fact that there is an award for best defenseman.
Yeah, that too. They have their own award.
There isn't an award actually for best forward. Like there's the Art Ross.
Well,
for
there's the
scoring
Selke.
title. The
Yeah.
best defensive forward. But There
Well,
isn't an
it's
award
it's
for
not
just
even
like
really defensive forward anymore, but yeah.
yeah, there isn't an award for just like the best forward. So in some ways, I feel like the MVP gets awarded to the best forward, or a goalie sometimes jumps in there.
You want to hear my heart pick for this season?
Sure,
Connor Hellebuck.
completely valid pick. He's been that good.
Like, if he doesn't win it this season, then goalies should never win. And I'm stealing that take right from your playbook.
100%. But I think it's him or Draisaitl for me.
Drysdale, because McDavid, I was looking at the points last night, and I was like, wait, McDavid is not even at 100 points yet? Like, that's what's going on. So
Draisaitl's been that good.
yeah, like, it's weird. There's only one 50-goal scorer this season. Is offense down? I don't know. Anyway.
Shake and Wings asks, Zegras has played almost 300 games. How much better do you think he will get?
Well, we did our rankings the other day, which I already referenced, and I still had him very high, but
We both did.
It's starting to feel like we're holding out a little bit.
Probably.
We're being a little stubborn.
I want to see him under a different coach.
I think
Like under an actual NHL coach.
Greg Cronin's going to be the coach next season. So
No, but I'm saying in general, like he's had
Yes.
Dallas Eakins and now Greg Cronin.
So my thing with Zegras is that I don't think, how do I put this? I think that he's already good. He just doesn't necessarily have the opportunity to show it. But I think that next season he's going to be what, 24? Or is he already 24?
I think he's already 24.
He's going to be in his age 24 season.
Yeah,
And
he'll turn 25 next year.
Yeah, it's like now it's put up or shut up. Like I can't keep, like at that point, I can't just keep writing it off to the coach. Granted, it still has an effect, but the older you get, the more developed you are. I think the coach should have less of an impact. And at a certain point, it just has to translate. Like he has to get back to that 60-point mark. I hate to just put it on points, but like that's what he's paid to do at the end of the day. That's what his salary is based off of. So, and the underlying numbers have not been great for him this season again. And it's like, next season for me is kind of make or break in my estimation of him. Whereas Mason McTavish, I'm less high on, but Mason McTavish has more time. So
yeah. Brad said the Athletic recently wrote why the Ducks won't win a cup in the next 10 years. What are our thoughts on that?
I don't know because I haven't read that, but I know that the Athletic Hockey Show did a ranking of looking at the teams that were drafting in the top 10, top 14, whatever last season, and picking a top 3 of who's the likeliest to win a Stanley Cup in the next 10 years. And none of them picked the Ducks. And I found that fascinating. And I feel like a lot of that is because everyone's down on the seasons that those guys have had. They're young players, but I still think for example, I still hold the Ducks over a team like Chicago. Mm-hmm. Yes, they have Connor Bedard. Yes, they have good pieces, but I think the Ducks are just so deep. We just talked about the Ducks blue line and how electric that could be. I think the Ducks are much, much further along than the Sharks, who get so much love. And the Sharks are doing it right. They should get love, but like their cupboard is still not that full. So I think that's wrong to not have the Ducks up there.
Agreed. Patrick said, if Montreal's rebuild is over, did they stockpile enough elite talent to challenge for cups in the next decade?
So I saw this question yesterday, and it has been bouncing around in my brain ever since. It's a scary thought because this is kind of like the thing where when you're a rebuilding team and you kind of make a jump so fast, it's almost like, did you really want that to happen? So here's where I'm at. I think that the Canadians do have enough talent because they are going to get, they're going to get Ivan Demidov. They have a top line of young stars. They have Lane Hudson. They have David Randbacker coming. And here's the other thing. Like, I think that, yes, they could have used another top 10 pick. James Higgins would look really good in that system. But this is something that we've dealt with covering the Ducks this year. It's like, at least the Canadians have shown proof of concept that they have that they are doing it. And you look at all the rebuilds, like you look at Buffalo, you look at Arizona, which now Utah, and like look at how long it's taken them. And those prospect pools have been praised over the years, and yet they've never gotten off the ground. So I'm kind of at the point where I'll take a little bit less talent in the cupboard for a team that actually does the thing that you want them to do. Like at the end of the day, a rebuild is so you can get back into the playoffs and win a Stanley Cup. And they're closer to doing that than the Buffalo Sabres, for example. So,
Yep.
my take.
D. Frenzy said, has Gudas had the worst season in Ducks history for a year one captain with the team? And then also added, is there a path to him becoming a more productive player again, maybe in a second, third pairing role? Or is this just the player, who he is as a player, aging curve-wise, especially with the same coaching staff next year? And basically added, to clarify, if the Ducks don't change the coaching staff, do you see him improving next year? For the Ducks history part,
I have the list of captains up on the screen.
Okay.
Can you name the first three captains?
Troy Loney.
Wow. I did not expect you to get that.
Troy Loney. Then was it Paul Kariya?
Nope. You're missing a guy. Do you want a hint?
Sure.
Starts with an R.
Starts with an R.
I've never heard of this person until right now.
Oh God. I know Troy Loney was the first captain of the team.
Okay.
Man, I don't know who that second guy is.
Randy Ladouceur.
Oh, I was thinking R for the... God, you screwed me there.
How did I gave you a hint.
R, I thought that was the last
Randy.
name.
I said starts with an R. Like,
yeah, I thought last name started with
Paul Kariya.
Yeah, Paul Kariya, then Steve Ruchin.
Steve Ruchin is the only... Pronger and Ruchin are the only single seasons. Yeah. Or no, Loney as well, if you count him.
I guess probably since Troy Loney. Randy, I don't know how those guys were.
Let's see.
What were their seasons like?
Let's see. Troy Loney, 1993-94, Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. 62 games, 13 goals, 6 assists. So 88 penalty minutes.
So probably the worst since Troy Loney.
Oh, that's rough. How did Steve Ruchin do in 03-04? I'm curious.
Don't know off the top of my head, but Steve Ruchin was a good player.
Yeah, he had 43 points that year. So that's in the dead puck era. So that's like 60 points today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that.
So Gudas might be it.
Yeah. And basically also for his point about the coaching staff, I mean, he could improve. Like, there's the potential that this is due to an injury. If there is no injury there, though, like, I'm not too high on him improving next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sean 11 said, which young Ducks forward prospect outside of Colangelo and Seneca have the best shot at making the full-time jump to the NHL next season?
I thought about this one, and I don't know.
Nestorenko?
Probably Nestorenko, yeah.
Yeah. I think just by process of elimination, I think him.
Yep.
Drake Duquesne said, are we being too hard on McTavish? He's roughly-ish on par point production-wise with other forwards at the top of his draft class in Beniers, Johnston, Eklund, Gunther.
I think yes and no. So yes, in that you're right. The production is there, and it's been pretty consistent since he's been drafted. Like, he's kind of always been in that 40-ish point range. The no is that I think when you look beyond the points, it's not quite as convincing. Like, his game just doesn't seem to be progressing that much, but he is still 22. Mm-hmm. So he's still got room for growth. And so I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. I think we're fair on McTavish is what I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I think we're adequately hard on him.
And then Endymion says, if the score holds tonight for the Stars, they're only 4 points back behind the Jets. Can they catch the Jets?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go no.
Yeah, the Jets are a wagon.
Yeah. All right.
The Jets. I never look at wins and losses for some reason, but the Jets have 51 wins. Like, that is a lot.
Yeah. All right, so now we're gonna get to questions from Twitter. I didn't see anything on Blue Sky, but for those of you in Twitch and YouTube, start throwing questions in the chat if you want them answered. BB asked us, question for the pod. Felix watches the goals every once in a while. Does he happen to know what play style they run with? Is it similar to Cronin's, or do they play more of a rush style?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you that confidently because when I watch them, I tend to focus on a single player, but they don't really do anything that's just immediately stands out as like super different. And usually AHL teams and NHL teams, like the farm team and the parent team, try to play similarly. So no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Miguel Gutierrez said, y'all think Verbeek is having second thoughts about giving Gudis the captaincy?
I doubt it. I feel like he still loves Gudis for what he brings.
Yep. And then Trevor Zebras asked us 2 questions. If the Ducks draft Radim Murtka, which left-handed D would you like to see him paired with? Lacombe, Zellweger, Minchkov, or even Solberg?
I mean, him and Solberg together would be crazy because like you've got this 6'6" giant, and then you've got Solberg who just wants to hit everything. So that would be fun.
Yep. And then the other question is, what would you say the percentage chance of Zegras being a Duck past next year's deadline? And has your answer changed recently from what it would have been a few months ago? I'll go 75%.
Past next year's deadline?
And yes, I would say it's increased for me after hearing Pat Verbeek kind of talk glowingly about Zegras.
Yeah, I guess I'm like 50-50, I would say.
Okay.
I just don't know.
Fair enough. All right, now we're going to get to Twitch and YouTube. So for those of you listening on your favorite podcast services, you can find us each time we go live at twitch.tv/crashspawn. Or if you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free Twitch Prime gaming sub each and every month. You can just be like our good friends Ken Paffa, who resubbed for this 55th month, or our good friend Brandon Pineda, who resubbed for the 22nd month. So thank you to both of you. You get special emotes in the chat, special badges next to your name. And or if you prefer YouTube over Twitch, and I know everyone listening to this has a YouTube account. Everyone and their mothers have YouTube accounts. Go check us out there. YouTube.com/crashspawn. Like our channels, or subscribe to the channel. Like the videos. You could super chat over there. You could do a whole lot of things to help us out over there. But liking is the easiest way that's completely free to you. If you subscribe, you get notified when we go live. Let's get a little bit of a like spike right now.
Like the video.
Yeah. The questions are coming in on YouTube, though. Connor Davis said, thoughts on Jansen Harkins?
Honest player.
Fine 4th liner.
Did you see the video of him skating after the game?
What? No, what?
So after the game ended, was it the Toronto game? He was out on the ice just skating, like wearing sweatpants and a workout shirt, just stick handling, skating around. And it was really crazy because he was doing like stick handling drills. He had like the 3 pucks like in a triangle and stick handling around them. And even an NHL 4th liner is like an excellent stick handler compared to the average person. Like he's actually got some hands.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player. I think that he's good at what he does, and he's barely playing right now. He's playing like 10 minutes a night, which is probably fine for him. I don't know. I've enjoyed him this season, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you and I actually both liked that signing when they made it. His underlying numbers were solid enough defensively. Like it seemed like he was going to be an improvement on what they had previously in the 4th line. That's kind of how it feels like what they have with him.
Yeah.
All right, Crowbar asked question: do you not feel that over the last couple of weeks, Zegras has looked more like the guy we're used to?
I mean, yeah, he's got the like between the legs passing going on. I feel like he's got 1 a game right now. He tried a Michigan recently. Am I going crazy?
He did. It was saved.
I feel like he doesn't look that different to me. But
Okay.
I'm also not someone who's like down on him usually. So,
Ole Jokinen said, does Felix think Leo Carlsson's performance this season is approaching his rookie season now that his production has picked up?
well, we were talking about the statistical differences post and pre 4 Nations. I will say the thing that has changed, at least recently, is I feel like he's way more aggressive in terms of trying to steal the puck from the opponent. Like he's back checking, he's lifting sticks, he's kind of using his speed not just to attack off the rush, but to be a pesky back checker and forechecker. And that is something new. That is something new that we didn't see as much of last season. So I think he has made these little incremental improvements recently compared to last year.
Alex Olvera said, question, thoughts on the team's vibes? Watching them celebrate and snippets of behind the scenes, don't remember a time the team was as close or showed as much passion.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
I'm gonna take that question and flip it onto you. In the Ducks' comeback win against the Rangers, favorite goal celebration?
Cutter Gauthier because he fell down and it was hilarious.
So you're not going with the Mason McTavish?
The Mason McTavish is the easy answer, which is why I did not go there.
The problem with that one is Jackson Lacombe was standing right there, so it almost looked like he's like proposing to him or something. My favorite goal celebration in that game was Olin Zellweger.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He just looked genuinely overjoyed. Yeah, I think the vibes are. I mean, the vibes are high. I mean, we haven't even talked about Leo Carlsson's quote after that game.
They've got the dog in them.
Everybody's got the dog in them right now. So I feel like the kids are confident. They're flying high. They're spreading their wings, and I feel like that probably rubs off on all the veteran guys too.
Yeah, I mean, I think this may be underselling kind of the close-knit of how the team has been in the past. Like, you think back to, like,
there's never been anything about this is like a bad group or anything.
Like the Zegras Drysdale years, right? When that was fun,
Yeah.
I felt like there was a lot of joy behind that, and the vibe seemed high. Like, I don't think that this is something that, like, this has been like a bad locker room player-wise.
God, I'm watching the replay of that Zellweger goal, and Minchikov like chipping the puck off the wall from the Killorn bump pass and immediately just sprinting up the ice.
Yeah.
To create a 4-on-2
at the end of a penalty kill.
Like, that is just crazy. Like, that is the Minchikov that we've been just dying to see. And then I'm seeing the Zellweger goal again, and just, oh my God. Yeah.
Crowbar said, question, is Brock Besser a guy you would look at in free agency?
I feel like we get asked this every week.
Probably not. Maybe as a fallback.
I honestly don't know. I'm just going to be fully transparent here. I have looked at his numbers. I have looked at everything. And I never come away thinking, oh, just by the numbers, that's a guy that I really want. And I just haven't watched him play enough to have this like fleshed out opinion. I know of him. I know that he's got a great shot and blah, blah, blah. But I don't have a strong opinion. Sorry. Being transparent here.
Darius Otero said, if you had 3 magic beans to add points to a Ducks player's attributes, like in video games, how would you distribute them? So let's just go pick a player, I guess a random player, and add 3 magic beans. Like speed, agility, shooting, passing, puck control. What do you think? Who do you think would benefit the most from adding this?
Trevor Zegras and speed.
Okay.
Make Trevor Zegras faster, or just like a better skater.
Mason McTavish.
Mason McTavish just catching passes. Just catching passes. If you just gave him that alone, I think he would benefit, but also speed for McTavish.
Leo Carlsson.
That is a tough one. Leo Carlsson's a very complete player. Maybe like a one-timer? Give him a one-timer. Give him like a lethal one-timer.
Okay. Well, I'm there with that.
Like, imagine if he could be like a Stamkos or an Ovi on the power play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Chris Weissong said, Marner, $20 million per year, question mark?
Sure.
How much would you be willing to pay Marner?
I'd give him the 1 year for 20 mil and then extend him for 8 years and go lower on that.
Let's say you did a 7-year deal. What would be the max you'd be willing to go to?
Probably 15.
Okay.
16?
With where the cap's going?
Yeah. I mean, he is elite. We saw it in that game against Toronto, and we've seen it all season. We've seen it at the Four Nations. Like, he is an elite player. That number is going to be scary to folks, but it's not going to be as big of a percentage of the cap as it seems right now. I think 15 might be my ceiling, because, I mean, Rantanen got 12. Do you think he's going to, like, what do you think Marner's actually going to get?
I think Marner would get 13 or 14.
And where does he sign? Prediction time.
Oh, I think he goes to Boston.
You keep saying this, and I'm trying to get a different answer out of you, and you're not changing it.
Why?
Why would he go to, like, I just don't get the Boston thing.
I don't know. It's funny to me.
I think that they will be very
Spurn lover. I think the Bruins are going to be really motivated to add also.
Exactly, because they are not really in a position to just burn it down.
Correct.
So you might as well just add another piece.
And they're going to have cap space.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. The Bruins just never go away.
Nope, they don't. Let's see. Connor Davis. Let's just end with this, then we'll get to shit show questions and get on out of here. Said, do you think the Ducks trade
Is that a
for?
Boston? Is that a Cronin accent?
That wasn't meant to be, but sure. Do you think the Ducks trade for or sign a forward in the offseason? I think sign.
Yeah, they'll definitely sign one. The
Yeah.
caliber remains unknown, but they'll sign one.
Yep. Let's see. Okay, now we're going to shit show questions. Lou asks us, "What's your take?"
What is your take? Here's a take. This is still about the Ducks, but I've been meaning to bring this up, so this is a good time. If it is true, the rumor that the Ducks are not going to have an alternate for the next 2 years, that is a mistake.
Correct.
This
100% agree.
This team, like, I know that they're trying to establish the identity with the two current jerseys, but like, this team just needs an eggplant and jade alternate.
Correct.
It just does. I think that my hope is that even if they don't have an alternate jersey, that they have like a throwback night jersey, which is like, what is it, like 3 nights a year, 5 nights a year?
Yeah.
Because that's what the Kings did with their current jerseys.
Correct.
So maybe that's what they'll do, but they need an alternate. Like, just give us the eggplant and jade. There's no reason not to. And yet they keep coming up with reasons, but there's no reason not to.
Yep. Endymion said, traditional ice cream sandwich or chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich?
Wait, what's a traditional? Is it like the one that's like the brown, like, you know what I'm talking about? It's like a black brown cookie, flat, with vanilla in the middle.
Sure.
I will say chocolate chip for sure.
I'll go with chocolate chip. Oh,
Yeah.
Lou's asking me that does Jake not have a take? I was not prepared. I am the question asker here.
Okay.
I'm the person asking for takes,
Okay.
not you, Lou. I'm just reading.
Yeah, why is he
things.
trying to boss you around?
Yeah, seriously, God,
That's kind of
Lou.
annoying.
Sean 11. Oh yeah, chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich though. All right, here actually I do have a take. Here's my take.
Okay.
Neapolitan ice cream sandwich. You eat the chocolate side first, then the vanilla, then you end with the strawberry.
I've never had it, so I can't comment.
Ending with the strawberry is a very nice way to end it. I feel like the chocolate with a chocolate top and bottom is a bit much, which is why you start with that.
Okay.
You don't want to end with it.
I have another take. I have a couple takes.
Okay, let's get through the rest of the shit show.
Okay.
Sean 11 said, each of your top 4 movies of all time. Let's go with top 1.
I'm not a big movie guy.
I know you're not.
I'm just not. Sorry. Sorry, folks.
I don't
you
know
want
what
all this?
my top movie, because they're different vibes. Palm Springs, I think, is a movie that I've loved recently and can go back to a bunch. Obviously, there's like A New Hope, any of the Star Wars movies.
The downside is that I do have movies that I love, but then if I say that's my favorite, then I get attacked for not being it's not hipster enough. So
Jojo Rabbit is one that I absolutely loved when it came out. Oh, What We Do in the Shadows, another great movie. God damn, now I'm just naming a bunch. What We Do in the Shadows, fantastic. Jojo Rabbit made me cry in theaters. The dumb movie that I absolutely loved to death, have not watched it in years, but loved it at one point in time in my life, Out Cold. Absolutely stupid movie. Out Cold. Just very, very dumb. Has so much Jack Johnson in it and Jimmy Eat World though. Great movie. Snowboarding movie. Blobby, somebody will understand that reference, and a lot of people will also just completely not get it.
I'm glazing over right now.
Yeah. Blobby head person said, how would Felix construct the current Angels lineup when Neto is back?
I'm glad I'm being asked this because I am an Angels expert now. I'm not sure. Maybe
Good on you for not knowing.
I'm not sure. You know, I will say I'm not perfect as a baseball analyst, but let's see. Where the heck is the thing I posted with the lineup? I posted their lineup earlier. I was the first one. Okay. How do you pronounce this? Shanuel?
Shanuel.
Shanuel?
I don't know. I probably screwed that up also.
You leave him in. Ward, you leave him in. Trout, you leave him in. Soler, you leave him in. I think you take out Moncada. Monsada?
I mean, you need Moncada for the defensive play at third base.
Okay. Ohopi?
Hoppy.
Ohapi? How is that how you pronounce that? Oh, you take out Rengifo. You take him out.
Renhefo.
He's terrible. He's awful. Isn't he from Anaheim or something?
What?
There's a guy that has been on this team that's from the area.
Sure, it's not Luis Renhefo.
Well, anyway, take him out. Take him out.
Yeah,
I think
Luis Renhefo's from Venezuela.
I think people are going to agree with my take, though. I think he's the guy you replace. So,
When Zach Neto, I mean, Renhefo coming out for Zach Neto makes sense because Renhefo's a middle infielder.
nailed it. Nailed it. Look at me. Baseball guy. I was going to wear a baseball hat today, but I didn't. I should have. That's frustrating that I didn't. Bad on me. Next week.
Bad on you. I'll find my Angels hat and put it back on for next week.
Angels
Angels are 3-1.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also
baseball.
played the lowly White Sox, so there's that.
Baseball. Did you see the Trevor Zegras baseball takes?
The
he did?
Yankees.
He's a big Yankees guy.
Yeah. He's probably a big fan of the torpedo bats.
The what?
Have you not seen this?
What the hell? What?
Have you not seen anything about the torpedo bats?
What the hell is a torpedo bat?
Look it up.
I don't want to look it up.
The Yankees have essentially brought in I think they used MIT like physicists to essentially reshape a bat. It's a completely legal like bat though, to make it where there's more mass basically.
Oh, I have seen this. Yeah.
At the contact point.
So is this legal?
It's legal because they aren't going wider, but they're thinning it out at the edge.
Interesting. It's crazy that one team is doing this.
I mean, bring in smart people.
Yeah. Yeah, that is out of the box. I'm trying to think what would be the hockey equivalent of that.
I mean, the hockey equivalent of that would be. Do you remember when Bauer tried to take some of the blade out? Like they had like a strip in the blade.
Yeah, that was a flop. I feel like
Yeah.
every time companies have tried stuff like that, like remember the O stick,
Yeah,
the Reebok O stick? Yeah.
tried to make it release quicker. But I mean, honestly, like composite sticks are kind of like that.
Well, I think with the thing with the One Piece sticks is they've kind of reached this like threshold where they can't really. I mean, I don't know how light they can make them, so they're trying to find other ways to improve them.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
I have some blind rankings for you.
Okay.
Fictional creatures.
Okay.
So you have to blind rank, which means you have to rank things 1 through 5 without knowing what comes next. Up first, the Balrog. This is from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's from Lord of the Rings. I'll go 4.
4, okay. Up next, I don't know how to pronounce this. Vesna?
We've done this before. Is that another Lord of the Rings?
This is from Stranger Things.
Oh, once again, don't watch Stranger Things.
So 5.
So 5.
Okay. Up next, the Rancor from Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. I mean, the Rancor's really not that great. Also, yeah, it's Rancor, not Roncor. I mean, the Rancor gets killed so easily. Like, come on. Like
having
that's
him ahead of the Balrog is bad.
Whatever. 3.
Okay. Up next, Kaiju from Pacific Rim.
Don't know it, but I guess 2.
Your number 1 is Smog from The Hobbit.
That's fine.
Okay, that was a bit of a flop. That's okay.
Yeah.
Up next, rank WWE superstars.
Okay.
Your favorite. It's your favorite company, right?
My favorite company, run by great people.
All right. Up first, The Undertaker.
I'll go with the solid 3.
3.
Leaving spots open.
Up next, AJ Styles.
Oh, this is gonna piss some people off. I'm putting him above the Undertaker. He's going 2. AJ Styles. This is largely due to non WWE, but AJ Styles' time in TNA and the X Division. Oh man, that guy could work.
I have no idea what that means. Up next, Big Show.
5.
5. Wow.
I love Big Show, but man.
Up next, Bret Hart.
Oh, Now I get a chance to piss Lou off. Do I go first or do I go fourth?
I don't know. What will you do?
Oh, I'm gonna go fourth because there are a lot of other wrestlers that I like a lot more than Bret Hart.
All right. Well, that means that your number one is Bill Goldberg. Who is that? I've never heard of that person.
I hate it. Why did I do that? Why did I not put Bret Hart one?
I'm screenshotting this, so I'm going to post this in our wrestling channel.
Oh,
That's
I had to
bad.
get cocky. I wanted Shawn Michaels to come up as one there. I played stupid games and I won stupid prizes.
Yep. I don't know if that's actually true, but
Bill Goldberg being one hurts.
that's funny. I don't know who that is, but I'm glad your reaction is what makes this.
Bill Goldberg had like 3 moves.
Okay.
He has a spear and a jackknife pile driver or whatever it is, not pile driver, whatever.
Oh, I can't wait to see people react to this in the chat. It's gonna be great.
Oh, why? Why did I not do Bret Hart one?
All right,
I
you have a chance.
I should have just done AJ Styles one.
You have a chance to redeem yourself.
Okay.
NBA players from the 2000s. This is the fan favorite. You have to name the
My
college.
fan favorite, your favorite.
I enjoy it. We might have run through every option for these already, but it's fine. Up first, DeMarcus Cousins.
5.
You have to say something about them. You can't just rank them.
DeMarcus Cousins, I don't have a lot on. That was like at the tail end, I think.
Who did he play for?
Didn't he play for Boston?
He did not.
Yeah, I got nothing on DeMarcus Cousins.
What was his nickname?
Like I said, I got nothing on him.
Okay. It was Boogie, and he played for the Kings mostly. Played for the Warriors.
Wait,
Anyway,
where did he play in college? Did he play for Duke?
I think he played for Kentucky.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He played for a blue team. That's all I remember. Yeah, Kentucky. Okay, so 5.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Up next, Draymond Green. Ooh, who did he play for?
Once again, this is like after, like this is not
Who did Draymond Green play for?
Yeah, Golden State Warriors. Duh.
Okay, good. College?
4. I don't know. Like I said, Draymond Green was like after.
Michigan State.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
4?
4.
Damn. I mean,
Harsh.
I would have him higher, but I am definitely in the minority because if you're not a Warriors fan, he's like the Brad Marchand of the NBA.
Yeah.
If he's not,
I think there's also
team.
just I'm leaving spots open.
Okay. Up next, Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard 3.
Okay. Any notes?
Played for the Orlando Magic, the LA Lakers.
Yep.
Went elsewhere, back to the Lakers, then now in Dallas.
Now in China.
Oh, why was I thinking?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, he's your 3. Karl Anthony Towns is up next.
Don't know. I guess 2. I don't know. This list is not good.
This list is screwed.
List is not good.
Your number 1 is LaMarcus Aldridge. You got all centers. How's that
LaMarcus
possible?
Aldridge played for the Portland Trailblazers.
He did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
I got that one from playing NBA 2K in college a bunch.
Okay, yeah.
I loved playing as Portland.
Yeah, they were good. Name some other Portland Trailblazers from that time.
From that time, okay, I don't remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Nicholas Batum,
Okay.
Damian Lillard,
I was wondering I couldn't remember if Dame Lillard was on the team then.
Brandon Roy. If you go way back,
I'm talking. This would have been like 2011, 2012 in that range.
yeah, that's when Lillard was just coming on. I
Okay.
think that might have been his rookie season actually.
Okay.
No, actually no, because I saw him play in college that year, so it was the year after. Anyway,
So yeah, wouldn't have been there.
all right, this was fun.
Yeah.
This was
Good time.
good. This was good. This was perfect. Steve Blake is a good shout by Chris in the chat.
Yes.
But yeah, if you want to support the podcast, so thank you for listening, everyone. Very easy way to do that. Go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/crashthepond. For $2 a month, you get access to our patrons-only Discord server where you get to chat with us about the Ducks, and you get to join a really great community of diehard Ducks fans. You can up that pledge to $7.50 a month. You get 2 bonus podcasts. So like we've been talking about, we did our recent top 15 under 24 ranking 24 and under ranking. And there are also bonus videos on there. So go check that out. You can also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on the show. Subscribe to us there. Leave us feedback on Spotify. Subscribe to us on Spotify. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like this video if you have not already. Please, please, please like the video. And follow us on social media. And on that note, we will get on out of here. Thank you for listening, everyone. Talk to you next week.
Bye.